Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another Autocross car build, and my vehicle today is quite possibly one of the craziest vehicles in Forza 6. It is the fantastic Plymouth Prowler. I love this car. It's such a almost strange vehicle that this ever even got made. I'm really glad that it exists, and I was amazed to see this in Forza. Very, very, very happy to see cars like this though end up in Forza. It's something different. I think I've never driven in a racing game before, so very much looking forward to see how it does. And of course, we're putting it through the ultimate test, which is making it into an autocross car. Now the first the big choice engine-wise, I'm keeping the engine standard. We're keeping the drivetrain has to be standard. That's the Royal Series, but engine, I'm keeping it standard in this car. The reason being is I'm building the car to A class. As much as I would love to put a big V8 into the Plymouth, both of these put the P up by quite a lot. They also put the weight up by a fair amount, especially the Hemi. And the NASCAR engine, well, I can get it in A class barely, but it won't be drivable. So again, as much fun as the NASCAR engine is, it is not going to work. So we are going to be keeping the standard, I think it's a V6 engine in this car. Aspiration swaps though, we could give it a twin turbo or a supercharger. I'm likely to go for the supercharger option with this one. But now it is to the handling parts, of course, most important bit of the build. I'm very curious to see what this does with a front diffuser, because let's face it, there is not really any space. I'm really, what are we going to... Okay, so we can either remove the front fenders. That there's nothing you could do with a diffuser, let's face it. There's just... I like it. I'm not sure that would do a huge amount, but yeah, there is no other placement for a diffuser. The wing should be a lot more sensible. There is kind of space for a wing to go in. On the back, the front of the car is such a strange shape, really. But yeah, that'll do with that stuff. Tyres, of course, we're going to be using the race tyres on this one. Tyre width, we might actually get some half decent sized tyres on this car. We've got 2 tyres at the front aren't the largest, certainly, that we have seen. Rear tyres there, we start with 315, sorry, we start off with 295s, we end up with, that's not too bad. Okay, I'm fairly happy with those tyre widths. I'm also thinking we might actually be able to get this car relatively light, seeing as it's still under £3,000. Yeah, we could actually see this as a relatively fast car. I didn't really know what to expect from this vehicle, whether it would be good or not for this kind of thing. But I think we might actually have, I'm not sure we're quite going to challenge an Alfa Romeo 4C at Autocross, no, but we might actually have a half-decent car at least in here. Right, weight reduction, please drop a lot of weight out, not quite as much as I'd have liked. I'd like to have seen it down to about 2,200-ish, 2,500 it is on the little bit of a heavier side compared to the vehicles that have gone before it, but we do still have plenty of room stick in these parts. Although what I will do first is go through here and put in the gearbox, put in a clutch. We'll save the drive line because we're probably going to want one or so PI available at some point, so we will come back for driveline later on. I mean, just looking at the power wise, about 300 horsepower, I think I saw it say. Yeah, I mean, we're about 300. It's not too bad. Sometimes when we upgrade the supercharger, it gives us a lighter one. Sometimes it makes it heavier. So in this one here, yeah, it's making it heavier. We will just go for that one there, because again, I'm just trying to do everything to keep the weight down as much as possible in this car. I know it's only making little differences, but you know, I will make the most of the bits that I can. And now it's just going to be kind of little upgraded engine bits to if we can get a couple more. No, we can't quite get that one there in. I think I haven't used the valves. We might be able to squeeze them in. That will do, and then we will go and stick the drive line on the car, and then it will look about ready. Maybe not quite. We've got one more PI to find. Flywheel, it's down to you. There we go. We can get a flywheel on as well. 375 horsepower, 378 torque, so it's not too bad on the torque front. 2,444 pounds in the Plymouth, and by far one of the craziest looking cars to ever tackle an autocross course. If we have some decent grip, which I don't see a reason why we shouldn't, particularly with this car, this could be setting a half decent time. So we are here at the Hockenheim circuit, ready for my 3 attempts at the Autocross course. Our current leader is the Alpha 4C with a time of 2 minutes 6.9. I'm not really thinking we're going to be quite challenging that. However, I think we can probably go quicker than the Tesla and the Mini there, around the 210s. Perhaps, maybe, this could get into the high 208s. Potentially. I mean, that's around the Mustang and the NSX. We could see it go around that part. It is going to very much, though, depend on how this car drives. I'm hoping we will have some nice grip. It gets off the line pretty well. How do we do at changing direction? It's pretty good. It's pretty good at changing direction. The rear end is not exactly the most planted thing I have ever driven, but there we go. I'm also not entirely sure how I'm going to do with the judging the width of this car, because it's got very, very strange front end. Not sure if I'm going to end up clipping the gates. Oh, it's pretty nice through there, though. Does pretty well through that part of the course. A bit better than the Tesla, a bit easier to drive than the Tesla through through that part of the course. There's, of course, much less weight moving around in this vehicle. I do quite like the handling, although it does just want to spin the rear wheels up in second. Oh, I've cut that one a little too fine. Yeah, that was my bad on that. Are we going to be flat out through here? I had to have a little lift, but I think that was more because I was out of position than anything else. Gear ratios are pretty long in this car. And the rear, it does just want to spin those rear wheels up. Yeah, I've got to try and get get the balance of what I can do with the front end of this car. It's slightly peculiar with the wheels sort of stuck out at the front there. Right, let's slow it down for these. It certainly changes direction through these slower gates very, very nicely. It's just the back end is a tiny bit wiggly for my liking. Brakes are not too shabby. I don't think it's quite the fastest car that we have seen around here. You compare it to the likes of the Mustang. The Mustang was, what, 400 pounds lighter than this and had similar power. It might have even had a little bit more than the Plymouth. So yeah, I mean, acceleration wise, it's not the most impressive of vehicles, but balance wise, I do quite like it. It does, yeah, it's doing a good job with these gates. I've not, as I suspected, I might have issues with. Not quite got what I can do with the width of the front end of this vehicle. Ooh. I've overcooked it into this final section through here. Now we are going to spin the wheels up a little bit. Okay, first attempt. Well, considering I was, 4 gates clipped, that's 20 seconds at least. This is a pretty decently fast car. So, on to attempt number 2. It does look very, very ridiculous. I will be the vehicle with the roll cage, the diffusers and splitters and wing and everything. It looks very, very bizarre, but it does drive pretty well on the whole. It's got to not make any silly mistakes. Make sure we don't get any wheel spin and have some issues there. Oh, slow down through that corner. I mean, it's not quite as good under braking as, the 4C, the RX-7 and the Mono and all of that sort of stuff, but that's perhaps not too surprising, really. I got a little bit cowardly through that corner there, just because I remember getting close to hitting stuff through there previously. Could have done with pushing it perhaps slightly more through there. I think I can carry decent speed through that section. Oh, it was one of these I think that I hit last time out. Either way, yeah, I went a little bit cautiously. Right, can we carry good speed through there? Yeah, I mean, we're carrying like 70 miles an hour through that gate there, which is really quite good going for anything really. There's a tad bit of understeer at that high-speed gate. It's not quite as comfortable taking it flat out as I was expecting from the Plymouth there. It doesn't quite carry the speed as well. I mean, we were almost flat out with the Tesla through there, not quite. And that seems to be a similar thing that I'm having to do with this car. It's close to being flat out, but not quite flat out. So that's peculiar, because with the rest of the course it feels really good. It doesn't feel understeery at all through these lower speed gates. Just that high speed one it doesn't really like. I mean, through here we don't have any problems getting the car turned down to this bit here. It's absolutely lovely. Flat out back ends staying well and truly planted on the road. So that is slightly peculiar through that one gate. The rest of it, yeah, I mean, we get a little bit of understeer coming towards that tunnel, but certainly nothing too much. I mean, I don't mind a bit of understeer around here. I'd rather have understeer than oversteer around that hairpin, because it just drags you out a little bit wide, so you can avoid that third evil gate around the hairpin. Let's not try and cut it too much. Coming through there. Oop, get it turned around here. It's looking pretty good on the time front. Let's not do anything silly around this final section. This is where I think the Tesla struggled a little bit. The Plymouth is nicer, certainly, through the gates. I pushed it. I pushed it trying to carry speed, but that is a quick time. That is a quick time, considering I know that first quick gate I was a little bit sluggish on, and I clipped one of the ones at the end. This is looking like it could go really quite fast. On to the final attempt for the Plymouth. I've got to try and not get too greedy through that final section. Don't try and carry too much speed and try and cut the gates a little too fine through there, and be a little bit braver at the first high-speed gate. I can carry more speed then, and we could well see something in the region of 208 with this car. It's, yeah, pretty damn good. Got to be aware of the brakes. That corner there, I think I'm just overshooting ever so slightly. It is not quite as good at getting slowed down through that part. We can carry decent speed through here. It's lovely and stable. That's actually really fast through that section there. It's lovely and stable through that kind of area. And then get it slowed down for this part of the track. Make sure we get it positioned. There is just that little bit of understeer creeping in with this car, and I'm okay with that. I can deal with that. We weren't quite as fast through there, just a little wide on the way in. Can we get even braver? That was very brave through through that part of the course, mind. That was really very close to clipping the barrels on the inside. I got away with it though, to make up a little bit of time through there. I really like this car. I didn't know what it was going to drive like when I said, right, I'm going to do an autocross build on this. I had no idea what to really expect from the Prowler, and it really drives very well. It does a really remarkable job through this course. If I could take out a couple more £100 of weight out of it, this would be a mighty vehicle for this kind of a thing. It drives so very well around here. It just feels perhaps a tad underpowered or overweight. It's for what it is, considering the vehicles that it's going up against and so on. But it drives really well. Not quite as lovely as the NSX. I mean, the NSX drove amazing. It's not quite up there with the NSX, but it is not that far off at all with handling. Right into this final section. Now, let's make sure don't get too greedy as we run through here. It's very easy to try and get on that power a little bit too soon. Try and carry that little bit too much speed. Oh, it's fast. It's really fast. 207.3. Oh, that is amazing. Okay, I did not expect that. A 207.3 from the Plymouth Prowler. Yeah, this is a really good car. It's a really bloody good car. It did feel a tad underpowered, but there is plenty of grip available, so you can carry the corner speed. When you get things right through the fast gates, you can carry a tremendous amount of corner speed with the Plymouth. That time puts it into second place. We're only 0.4 of a second down on the Alfa Romeo 4C. In a Plymouth Prowler. It's quicker than the Buzzbox, the Escort Cosworth, it's quicker than the Mono, the MX-5, all of these handling cars. And the Plymouth Prowler is faster than the lot of them around here. I'm very impressed. I like this car even more now. That's a fantastic time. That's just, yeah, I did not quite expect that one. I know there were a couple of guys there that got stupidly fast with this vehicle, but that is a really very good time overall from this car. So, turns out the Prowler is a really rather good choice of A-class autocross car. Not quite the outcome that I was expecting, but I am very glad that it is. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.